What's up? Welcome to Awake and Ink. My name is Colin, and this is another recording of my journey as an aspiring artist. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Today I want to talk about my beginning. So I've talked a lot about my path, this whole spirituality thing, but I haven't really talked about myself as an artist. So as far back as I can remember, I've always liked to draw, and I went to a lot of the schools, a lot of different schools. So I never really got to know anyone or make a lot of friends. But the last school that I really spent a lot of time in was in third grade. From about third grade to like high school, I was with the same class. So first thing would happen is when I came to this new school, first thing was everyone asked, they want to know more about me. So they're like, hey, what are you about? And I'd be like, well, I like to draw. And they would see, oh, you're an artist. Okay, well, we have another artist here that happens to be really good too. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to put you guys together. You have an art challenge, and we're going to see who's the best. So I was like, okay, like, damn, like, I just like to draw. I didn't realize this was, like, going to be a life or death situation. Like, okay, but whatever, sure. So first challenge, they put me with, like, the baddest artists that they had, and they said, okay, what are they going to draw? And someone said, hey, let them draw a tiger or something. And we both looked at each other, both artists, like, we both saw, like, oh, I don't think either of us have ever drawn a tiger. Like, who's seen a tiger in real life? So we both drew. We're like, okay, let's drew something. It looked kind of like a tiger, but I mean, neither of us knew what we were doing. And then when the rest of the class, when they saw, they probably didn't really know what a tiger looked like either. So they were just like, well, I guess they both look like tigers, so it's a tie. And this pretty much happened like throughout my whole childhood. I would come to a new class and everyone would be like, oh, you're an artist, okay, we're going to pit you against the baddest artist, and you're going to draw. And then what usually would end up happening was they would see both of our stuff, and they would see the other artist's work, and they'd be like, yeah, it's really good. And then they'd see mine, and they were just like, I don't know what to make of it. Like, it's really just out there, but we're cool with it. So it's like, okay, cool. And that happened basically all through high school. But I had a friend, his name was Kyle, and I considered him to be one of my best friends at the time. But one day he came up to me. He had seen all of the attention that I got for being an artist. So he's like, hey, can you show me how to draw, like be an artist like you? So I was like, okay, like, I don't know how to teach you, but just watch me. I'm gonna draw, watch me, and maybe you'll learn. And so that's what he did. He just kind of watched me as I drew. But what ended up happening was he would copy me. So whatever lines I would make, he would also make the same lines. So I essentially trained him to be like a master copier. And what he did was, after he had copied my artwork, so then he started going back into, other pieces of artwork, like comic books and whatever, and he would just copy those things. And I thought that was cool. But one day, while we were in school, while we were in class, he decided, you know what? I'm going to challenge this dude. He challenged me. He said, hey, let's have an art challenge. And I was just like, what? Me, like, no, like, I don't want to challenge you. You're my boy. Like, what are you doing? But he kind of put me on the spot. You know, I had never turned down a challenge. I've always been the artist to just, okay, let's do it. So I was like, fine. Like, I don't know what you're doing. Like, I don't know what kind of stunt you're trying to pull, but fine. I'll go with your challenge. So when the idea came up of, hey, what should they draw? Of course, my friend was like, oh, I know. I know what we should draw. We should draw cars. And right then, I could just feel my heart just like, ah. I do not know how to draw cars. I just, and he knew that, and that's what killed me. Is he was my friend, so he knew what I was good at, but he also knew my weaknesses, and he knew I couldn't draw cars. I didn't care for them. I mean, I was like 10. Like, I wasn't gonna have like know a car until like 6 years later. But he'd already been into cars. So he said, let's do cars. So I was like, man, this is gonna be rough. And I came up with it was like a box with some circles for tires. It was just horrible, but it was the best I could come up with without any experience. I'm sure if I drew a car, I would be good at it, but I just never had drawn one before. And he whips out this thing, and it's just like a photograph. It just looks amazing. And that's because he had already done that beforehand. He had already, like I said, I made him into like this master copier. So what he did was he already took a picture, an image of a car, and he already copied it. And then when we had this challenge, when everyone's watching me struggle, like, circle, square, he was just like, yeah, that's nice. And then when it was time to present, he just whips this thing out that he had already, but I wasn't paying attention. I didn't know. Nobody was paying attention. They were just seeing me struggle because they knew I was an artist. He was an artist. So that was really heartbreaking, It was like my friend, he just, he did that to me. Like, I would never do that to you. I would never, if I knew you were like really good at something, really great at something, I wouldn't challenge you to that in front of everyone. Like, if that's your thing, like, but yes, after that, our relationship changed. I couldn't really be his friend anymore, because I would never do that to my boy. But he was willing to throw me under the bus like that. So anyways, like, I think after that, maybe a few weeks later, he had challenged another friend or another artist who I had already tied up against, but he challenged him, and the idea was, when everyone was like, oh, what should we draw? He was like, oh, I know. You should draw the Punisher. So why is that? Because he had already drawn it. He had already drawn it beforehand. So I'm sure this artist, I think his name was Aaron, I'm sure he drew a really nasty Punisher, but you can't compare it to like a photocopy, which is what Kyle presented. He just whipped it out. Here's like this amazing Punisher that I drew. Unfortunately, he got a little bit too greedy, because what he didn't think about was he's not the only one who likes the Punisher. Well, who else liked the Punisher? Most of the class. What they saw was the cover of the latest issue of Punisher, and they were like, dude, you didn't draw that. You just copied the last cover, like the last issue of Punisher. Like, that's, you don't go to a challenge and just like bring a photocopy. Like, so he was basically exposed as a fraud, and nobody had any, respect for him as an artist after that. And I guess the lesson I want to say is, karma's a real thing. Like, if you're gonna hurt people who are close to you, like, there's repercussions to that. And so that's kind of what happened with me. It's like, he had hurt me, and I decided from that point on, like, I don't want to show anyone my artwork. I'm just going to keep it to myself. No one's even going to see it. And like, that changed me personally. But he had hurt me, and then what ended up happening to him is I would not want to go through what he went through. Just that feeling of humiliation, of like almost like being a liar, being exposed as a liar. So just try to be a decent person, and don't hurt others in order to advance yourself. It's really not worth it. In the end, what you gain, you've lost more than you gained, So that's my lesson. Anyways, I wish you the best on your journey. I love you all.